All right, so first of all, what's going on, everybody? It's your host, Dr. Splash. Thank you for being here. I did just review the death battle. I just saw the Hulk vs. Godzilla. My server started getting a bunch of posts about it. So I went ahead and went and checked it out. I was going to make Jin Woo vs. Mori Jin today. That'll be pushed to tomorrow. Hopefully that can ride the momentum of this, and a couple more videos will drop tomorrow. Now, this, I think, is a good opportunity for me to prove that I'm not very biased when it comes to this shit, okay? Let me tell you what I loved about the battle, what I disagreed with, or what we would be debunking. If you love content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, join the Yancey Street Gang. Discord will be in the description. Definitely check it out. I have all the Hulk scaling, all that stuff. If you want to see all that, you can hit me up, talk business. Now, back on topic, right? Let's go over what I loved first, because we're not trying to be too negative, right? We try to spread some positivity and have fun on this channel. So if you're not subbed to Death Battle, go check them out. Go like their video, go show love, all that. They put in a lot of work, regardless of how you feel about their research sometimes. So the good. Presentation was amazing. We pretty much get to say that every time, thankfully. Very consistent channel when it comes to how great their presentation is. This was some of the better Hulk research we've ever seen them do. This is the third time he's been on the channel. And the battle itself, the animation was fucking dope. Like, that shit was crazy. And they seem to have a lot more better of a grasp on the modern Marvel landscape with how they presented the map. Let's go on to what I don't like, right? I'll be straight up with you guys. Composite Godzilla should beat the fucking brakes off Broly. But they have Broly above Hulk. And now before people, hit the hezzy on me, like, yo, what do you mean? That's, a few things have changed with Hulk over the years. Bitch, they scaled classic Hulk above the nexus of realities, okay? Broly has nothing for that. So the fact that they held feats from the 60s and 70s above a threshold that is clearly beyond Broly that they presented here, dude, fuck the fractured sun argument. They presented material where they firmly believe classic 616 Hulk massively outscales what Broly should be presented as. So I'm thinking back to, dude, why the fuck do they have Hulk so high now? Why do they have such high regard for his previous scaling? But against Broly, against Doomsday, that shit did not matter. Where's the whole fucking... Remember when they said Hulk runs out of energy because humans can only be so mad for so long? You remember that absolute dime? We ain't have none of that shit here. I'm gonna be honest. Why the fuck is Bruce Banner a factor in the battle when he wasn't a factor in the other two? Is Broly just too nuanced of a character for Banner to figure out? Are we fucking joking right now? Like, is Broly a harder case study for a world-renowned scientist than someone like Godzilla? That's a joke, right? That's weird. I don't think Bruce Banner would be a factor in this matchup. And I say that from the standpoint of, like, I'm someone that's stated very clearly, I think current Hulk, I think Fractured Sun, all that, Mortal Hulk 2, they showed Starship Hulk, they showed a bunch of fucking Hulks. All those Hulks, 616, yeah, outscales Godzilla pretty comfortably. Now, they said something I disagreed with. I want to see what you guys think about this. They brought up how Starship Hulk scales to an All-Father Thor and what that would mean and what that would entail. Cool. But they also did say they were using a Godzilla that had fought other comic book characters. They put in the corner that, yes, they acknowledge those fights. He's fought Superman, he's fought Thor, all that shit. But they said the scaling sucks. They basically said they're throwing it out because it's different counterparts, different situations. Cool, whatever. I disagree with that. I don't think you can throw that out because they literally just had him cross over against Immortal Thor. What the fuck are we talking about? That's fucking impressive. Like, all of the heavens shook. The world tree was getting destroyed. He pushed the shit out of, like, I get, let's say this, right? This video just came out, but maybe it's been a while in production. Perhaps they just didn't get to that, right? But they did use first firmament scaling, all that stuff. I say all that to say, you can't just recklessly throw out composite Godzilla and say, oh, well, maybe we're not gonna take our time to scale this because maybe it scales a little different than counterparts. There's still scaling within it. There's still context that you can observe. And my point with this is that composite Godzilla is not below Broly. So I kind of wish, like, during these situations, and granted, maybe they'll go on their podcast or whatever after and be like, hey, look, we've never scaled Hulk properly. It was like all bullshit. Now we finally have a grasp on it. We were completely wrong about the other shit. I would have to see something like that, because at this point, I don't get their game plan. I don't get their stance on Hulk. And mind you, there's literally a video on my channel of me saying I think Hulk would win this battle. But I've always told you guys that when I'm looking at death battles, when I'm looking at other channels, right, I'm looking to see the reasoning behind why they hold certain stances, why they think certain characters win. If I say I think Hulk wins, right, because I think Hulk has superior scaling due to the Marvel cosmology, what he currently scales to, sick, right? That's my theory backed up by evidence I'm citing from the comics. Flip that. Let's say I say Hulk beats Godzilla because Hulk is a black lesbian. You'd be like, what the fuck is that? What's that have to do with anything with him winning a fight, right? The point of that example, while it's extreme, is, hey, you need to have proper reasoning behind the way you state characters win. For one, best reasoning they give is how they scaled the Marvel cosmology compared to Godzilla's cosmology, which is fine. Like, I don't disagree with that. There's a lot of layering in Marvel. They were kind of based for that. But it also kind of throws out all their other work. It kind of throws out their previous statements and scaling for Marvel. I don't know if they just never, I'm not trying to be funny. I wonder if they just like never really touched on comics, sincerely. And with how the games change, there's more stuff getting posted on YouTube constantly. Even, I don't know if they watch my shit. I know some of the researchers watch my shit. Maybe they're touching on other channels and seeing like, hey, this is actually how that character scales. Let's go dive into the comic, stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what the process is behind it, but whenever I put out content that is updated, whenever I have a stance that should be changed or should negate a previous stance, I will openly admit it. I said on my top 10 Marvel, I was like, hey, I held the previous stance between Franklin and Legion at full power. Based on this video, I would be debunking myself. I just want to let you guys know that. My bad, information updates, my information updates, and that's how the game works. But we don't really get that, at least not in the videos. And the reason that's kind of a problem is, let's say you say they acknowledge it later or on a different show, a podcast, whatever. Cool. Some of us don't consume death battle thoroughly. Some of us only see the death battles. So if you don't explain it there, and I'm not watching anything else, I'm never gonna get that explanation. I'm kind of left in the dark thinking you're moving kind of crazy, right? I would hold that same standard to me. If I have a video that changes my stance from other videos, maybe they only watch my scaling videos. I should probably mention it in that video, especially when it's a topic involving a character I haven't used before. So because of that, while I agree with the outcome of Death Battle, with this outcome of Hulk and Godzilla, I kind of disagree with how they got there. It was kind of weird how they were scaling Godzilla. I couldn't tell if they were calling composite Godzilla outerversal in any way, but composite should be in that range. Obviously, I have Marvel higher, which again, that was the part I definitely agreed on. I think the Marvel cosmology is more impressive than anything Godzilla has shown outside of actually being a part of Marvel cosmology. So I do agree with that. But again, you gotta be right for the right reasons. I kind of felt like Godzilla was downplayed. That was the general sense I was getting. This felt like they wanted to give Hulk a win. That's not me saying I think Hulk shouldn't win. That's just a general feeling I got from this, and that makes sense because he's 0-2 on the channel. You don't want to go 0-3. But having him beat composite Godzilla, but he gets thrashed by Broly, that's kind of a joke for me. I think that's stupid. I don't think the power was the same. Immortality was the same. I don't agree with that either. I don't think they kind of properly broke that down. The way they used, and I know animations are supposed to be fun, the way they used Banner, that's not how it's going down. That's not how the fight would play out. I'm just being honest. Like, Hulk's either going to beat that bitch up or that's pretty much it. If we're going to sit here and say like, oh nah, Hulk's going to be brawling with him, Fractured Sun's in the pocket, and then Banner's going to figure out how to win. That's not how it's fucking worked in Fractured Sun, actually. The one time Bruce was a little separate because they got separated, and Bruce signed over the rights to Bear the God Flesh or the rights to control the body of the Hulk. So I'm not trying to hear that shit, okay? But regardless, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you agree Hulk wins, but for different reasons, if you had any problems with the battle, if you agreed with the battle, I'm curious to hear your takes. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And again, just because it's a debunk doesn't mean we have to be super negative. We can just disagree on certain things and move on from that. I'm really confused by their inconsistent stances on scaling. I wish that was just more consistent. But yeah, definitely not their worst battle. The animation was sick, and overall I wish the best to them and plenty of health. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your host, Dr. Splash, and remember, it's Yancey Street, bitches.